Good morning, children. Today we are starting with chapter 10, Microbes in Human Welfare. Now, microscopic plants and animals, they are there. Microbes, they are the major components of the biological systems on this earth. You have studied about diversity in living organisms in class 11. Now, do you remember which kingdoms among the living organisms contain microorganisms? And which are the ones that are only microscopic? Now, microbes, they are present everywhere in soil, water, air, inside our bodies, and of the other animals and plants also. And they are present, microbes, they are present at all sites where no other life forms could possibly exist. Sites such as deep inside the geysers, thermal vents where the temperature may be as high as 100 degrees Celsius, deep in the soil, layers of snow several meters thick, and in highly acidic environments. So microbes, they are diverse. Mainly microbes are diverse. That means protozoa, bacteria, fungi, microscopic plant viruses, viroids, and also prions, they are all proteinaceous infectious agents. Now, microbes like bacteria and many fungi, they can be grown on nutritive media to form colonies, and such cultures, they are useful in the study on microorganisms. So in chapter 8 you have read about microbes which are causing a large number of diseases in human beings. They also cause diseases in animals and plants, but this should not make you think that all microbes, they are harmful. Several microbes, they are useful also. They are useful to man in diverse ways, and some of the most important contributions of microbes to human welfare, they are discussed in this chapter, chapter 10, Microbes in Human Welfare. Now, in this chapter, we'll be covering the topics microbes in the household products, industrial products like fermented beverages, antibiotics, chemicals, enzymes, and other bioactive molecules, microbes in the sewage treatment, in the biogas, biocontrol agents, and as biofertilizers. So, all useful effects of microbes will be discussed in this chapter. So, microbes, how they are beneficial to us, that will be discussing in this chapter. Now, the first topic for today is microbes in the household products. Now, you'll be surprised to know that we use microbes or products in our everyday life. Common example is the production of the curd from the milk. Microorganisms such as lactobacillus and other commonly called lactic acid bacteria, they grow in milk and convert it into curd. Now, during growth, this lab produce acids that coagulates and partially digest the milk proteins. A small amount of the curd added to the fresh milk as inoculum or starter contains millions of these lactic acid bacteria, which at suitable temperature multiply, thus converting milk to curd, which also improves its nutritional quality by increasing vitamin B12. So in our stomach too, the lab play a very beneficial role in checking disease causing microbes also. So the dough which is used for making food such as idli and dosa, so here you can see the lactobacillus in yogurt and idli dosa. The dough which is used in making food of idli and dosa, that is also fermented by bacteria, and the puffed up appearance of dough is due to the production of carbon dioxide gas. Now, can you tell which metabolic pathway is taking place resulting in the formation of this carbon dioxide, and where do you think the bacteria for these fermenters came from? We already know that this is the anaerobic respiration, and they are present everywhere. Microbes, they are present everywhere. So similarly, the dough which is used for making bread is fermented using baker's yeast, that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Here you can see this in the picture. A number of traditional drinks and foods, they are also made by fermentation by microbes. Toddy, you can see here in the picture the toddy, a traditional drink of some parts of the southern India, is made by fermented sap from palms. And microbes, they are also used to ferment fish, soybean, bamboo shoots to make foods. And cheese is one of the oldest food items. Here you can see the picture of cheese, in which microbes, they are generally used. Different varieties of cheese are known by their characteristic texture, flavor, and taste, and the specificity coming from the microbes used. For example, the large holes in the Swiss cheese, here this is Swiss cheese, they are due to the production of a large amount of carbon dioxide by the bacterium called Propionibacterium shermani. Here you can see the spellings. And the Roquefort cheese, they are ripened and growing a specific fungi on them. Here this is the Roquefort cheese, which gives them a particular flavor. So this is how microbes, they are used in the household products. Now microbes in the industrial products, even in industry, microbes, they are used to synthesize a large number of products which are valuable to human beings. Beverages and antibiotics, there are some examples. Production of an industrial scale. Now beverages and antibiotics. Production on an industrial scale requires the growing microbes in very large vessels which are called as fermenters. You can see the picture of fermenters here. Now fermented beverages, when we talk about microbes, especially yeast, have been used since times immemorial for the production of beverages like wine, beer, whiskey, brandy, rum, etc. And for this purpose, the same yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, for bread making and commonly used brewer's yeast is used for fermenting malted cereals and fruit juices to produce ethanol. Now, do you recollect the metabolic reactions which results in the production of ethanol by yeast that you have done in 10th class also? Again, anaerobic respiration. Now, depending on the type of the raw material used for fermentation and the type of processing with or without distillation, different types of alcoholic drinks are obtained. Wine and beer are produced without distillation, whereas whiskey, brandy and rum, they are produced by distillation of the fermented broth. So the photograph of a fermentation plant is shown here in the figure. Here you can see the design of a fermenter from the inner side. Here all the conditions which are required for the maintenance, they are prepared: oxygen sensor, acid base, pH probe, temperature probe. These are the pedals or the impellers. These are the sampling point, compressed air inlet, harvesting pipe, sterile air line, inoculation pipe, antifoam. So these are the cooling jackets. So these are the various parts of the fermenter which is designed. Antibiotics. Antibiotics are produced by microbes and they are regarded as one of the most significant discoveries of the 20th century and have greatly contributed towards the welfare of human society. Anti is a Greek word and which means against. Anti means against and bio means life, and together they means against life in the context of the disease causing organisms, whereas the reference to the human beings, they are pro-life and not against. So antibiotics are chemical substances which are produced by some microbes and kill or retard the growth of the other disease causing microbes. Penicillin. You're familiar with this common antibiotic, that is penicillin. Do you know penicillin was the first antibiotic to be discovered and it was a chance discovery. Alexander Fleming. This is a picture of the scientist Alexander Fleming. He was working on Staphylococci bacteria. Here you can see in the picture Staphylococci bacteria, and he was observed a mold growing in one of the unwashed cultured plates. Now he found that it was due to the chemical produced by the mold and he named it penicillin after the mold Penicillium notatum. Its full potential as an effective antibiotic was established much later by Ernest Shane and Howard Florey, and this antibiotic was extensively used to treat American soldiers wounded in World War II. So Fleming, Shane and Florey were awarded the Nobel Prize in 1945 for this discovery. Now after penicillin, other antibiotics were also purified from other microbes. They can be amoxicillin, tetracycline, and there were many are there present today. Antibiotics, they have greatly improved our capacity to treat deadly diseases such as plague, whooping cough, diphtheria, leprosy, which used to kill millions all over the globe. So today we cannot imagine a world without antibiotics. Thank you for today.